Moy, first of all, are you able to sum up your emotions after that today?
It's a bit complicated, but I try uh, to be like normal because it was a great day for the club, for me especially. So yeah, so happy.
Going to get to the goal in a minute, but your overall performance, it felt like once again you were everywhere today.
Yeah, as I said, it's always special because I want to help to the team always in anywhere, So I try to do my best every game, and I think I did today.
Talk us through the goal, because once again, we've been here before, but that was very special.
Yeah, it was very special against a great opponent, so yeah, it was special for me. I had a chance to shot, and I did it.
Was it one of those where you thought it was going in as soon as it left your boot?
Yeah, when I shot, when I hit, so for sure the ball is gonna go in. Yeah, for sure I just ran to the corner to celebrate with the players and with the fans.
Greetings and salutations, Earthlings. My name is Tunde Young, reporting to you live from the International Space Station. Very much still on cloud nine from the events of Saturday, where Chelsea defeated Liverpool by 2-1. That Esteban goal sent me into cloud nine. And as jaded as I thought I was, as nonchalant I have become about football lately, I did not know when I ran mad and jumped up and celebrated that late winning goal on Saturday at Stamford Bridge. My name once again is Tunde Young, bringing you episode 8, the 8th installment of this very important production, this very independent production, brought to you by a couple of very independent people. Again, my name is Tunde Young. Gyokeres is here with me behind the cameras. I'm casting him in case they want to fire him from his real job. But as you can see, I'm in a very good mood. There's something about your team winning just before the international break, when you go into international break with fullness of joy and simultaneously you leave your opponent in eternal turmoil. It's not eternal, it's just 2 weeks, but for those 2 weeks, you know that there's no Liverpool fan that is going to be happy in their marital life, in their home, in their education, they're not going to be grumpy for the next 2 weeks, and that makes me very, very happy. That's why I had to start the show with the thoughts of the man of the match from Saturday, Moises Caicedo, who scored that absolute banger. And there's a lot to talk about on the show. Tosin also joins us on the show today, makes his return. T&T Talk Sports show, baby. So we'll be having another news with Tosin as the show progresses. But first, my highlight of the weekend, and you have 3 seconds to guess. 3, 2, 1. What do you think my highlight of the weekend is? It's Esteban! That's exactly how I wrote it down in my rundown. There's nowhere else I could have gotten my highlight from. Chelsea shocked the world. And by the world, I'm excluding myself, because I wholeheartedly believed that we were not losing that game. And by we, I mean Chelsea. I'm a Chelsea fan if you are new here. I wholeheartedly believed there was no chance in hell Chelsea was losing that game. And I even put out a video on my socials at Sony on the screen. My socials are on screen, but I put out my socials. And I put up a video on my socials and I predicted the correct score. I said Chelsea will win 2-1. But worst case scenario, bad as it would have been a 1-1 draw. And those were the 2 most likely outcomes. And Chelsea ended up winning that game 2-1, like I said. So first of all, giving my flowers. I'll take A+, I take OP, I take Cash App, I take BTC, I take everything. I take regular flowers and so just give it to me. But there's a lot to talk about from that game. From Liverpool's perspective, from Chelsea's perspective, from Enzo Maresca's perspective. Episode 7, I spoke about Chelsea and it was in a very dour and negative tone. I'm not changing my mind on the fact that Chelsea are nowhere near where they need to be yet. But again, the win on Saturday is a huge morale boost, a huge shot in the arm. A game where Chelsea had to end it with 4 full-backs playing as the back four. Malo Gusto as the right back, Chris James as the right centre back, Joel Ato as the left centre back, and Marco Correa as the left back. And just Enzo Maresca with a masterclass in improvisation and being able to one up his bold counterparts in the person of Arne Slot, who in my opinion was totally outclassed, was totally outcoached, was totally outmanaged, was outdisplayed, was outmaneuvered, ran off the bridge more appropriately, and obviously makes me very proud. But it's about coming off the bench and getting the winning goal, doing everything he's doing at the age of 18, becoming the youngest Brazilian to score a match winner in the Premier League history, becoming the youngest Brazilian to score or assist for Chelsea in the Premier League is incredible. Of course, and the natural progression from that is comparisons. In the real world, comparison is the thief of joy, but in the football conversations, comparison is oxygen. Every player needs to be compared to another player, and the player that Esteban has been compared to so far is none other than Lamine Yamal, another teenage prodigy out on the place, the exact same position on the right wing. So those comparisons are supposed to make themselves, but I would say pump the brakes a little bit on now. We all love Esteban, but it's fresh off the boat from Palmeiras. He still has a lot to learn. Very raw talent. My biggest gripe with him so far is that he feels the need to dribble every single time he gets the ball. There are other ways to advance the ball, Mr. Steve. Not every time do you need to dribble past 3 or 4 players. Just because you are good at it doesn't mean you have to do it every single time. So I assume those kind of lessons will come to him with age and time and just natural progression of his development. But nobody can deny what we've seen so far. Incredible talent. Lamine Yamal, on the other hand, he's already a grown man, despite being, I think, younger than Esteban. He only just turned 19. Or maybe they are the exact same age, I don't know. But they are both teenagers, we know that for a fact. So Esteban is impressive for a teenager. Lamine Yamal is just impressive. Like this. So I don't think that this is that much of a comparison. But back to action on Saturday. What does this mean for Chelsea's season? The biggest positive from that win, at least I'll break my review down into sections. I'll start with the first half. The most surprising thing is that I think Chelsea have mistakenly found our best centre-back partnership in this game. The centre-back partnership that started the game, Bernard Badashile and George Acheampong, in the first half, were immaculate. They perfectly complemented each other. Yin Yang, the young, athletic, fast, speedy centre-back, right-footed, pairing against the older, experienced, slower but more calculated left footed centre back. And Josh was the one that had more of the license to move with the ball, while Badashile was covering him a lot. They were both very good to watch. And I know that the biggest problem with Chelsea is the inconsistencies that, just because they were both good in this game doesn't mean the next time we'll see them, they will play like that. And the fact that they both even now got injured in this game already, lends credence to what I'm saying, in the sense that nothing is guaranteed for this Chelsea team. There's always injuries. It's a young squad, so there would always be something that comes up. But from what we saw in that first half, I think whenever they are available, that is the way to go. But actually, Josh, that's at least until Liverpool makes his return, that is the way to go. That centre-back partnership was immaculate. Another thing I took away from this game, still talking about the positives. Alejandro Garnacho finally starting to look like a Chelsea player. It took him a bit of time, but his first Premier League start for Chelsea, and he was quite good. You could tell in the first half that he was playing entirely to coach's instruction, because the way Garnacho plays his football is usually a off-the-ball runner type of winger. Like, you get the ball, but he wants the ball in behind his defender. He doesn't necessarily want to have to beat his defender every single time with the ball at feet. But especially in that first half on Saturday, he spent most of the time hugging the touchline, receiving the ball to feet, and then cutting it back and passing to Kukurea. So it was clearly coach's instruction that hold the width while Kukurea drifts inward. So Garnacho is not able to play the way he usually plays. But I think that changed at halftime. In the second half, he was making more runs in behind, and he was getting found quite a bit. Enzo Fernandez also had a very good game. Kukurea had a good game, and they even spoke about it after, which is one of the talking points I'll talk about. They spoke about the fact that they were exploiting Mo Salah's side of the pitch because Salah is not doing a lot of defending. He's waiting for counter attacks, so which leaves Liverpool's right side isolated, and Chelsea's left side was taking full advantage of that whenever they could, and you will see it in the progression of the game. So, which leads me to actually what I want to ask about Mohamed Salah. At 34 years old, it's not groundbreaking for me to say Salah has clearly declined. There's no doubt about that. He has clearly declined. He's no first of all, it's no longer as fast as he used to be, and even though he has never been Lionel Messi in the sense that it doesn't need to be. It's been more Haaland than Messi. He will make impact, but he doesn't need to be involved in every facet of play. But I think that this is the least involved we've ever seen Mo Salah. He's 33, I beg your pardon. He just turned 33 in June. But still, for someone that is stuck in trade, is being a winger / inside forward that relies a lot on pace, ability to run in behind, catch, get the drop on his fullback, and all of that. His decline is becoming more and more obvious this season. Which leads me to the question: is it time for Liverpool to move on from Mohamed Salah? I know it sounds crazy. I absolutely know it sounds crazy. With everything that he did last season, no. So I know how this sounds, but we still have to examine it. And when you also add, take into account all of Liverpool's summer transfer activity in terms of ignoring their midfield, ignoring their defense, and spending a 400 million war chest on their attack, it suggests that they are preparing for life after Mohamed Salah, which might not be that much farther behind, if you ask me, because again, like I said, Salah is clearly on the decline, and it's not time to be emotional about it. 3 goals in 10 games so far this season. 3 goals and 3 assists in 10 games for Liverpool across all competitions so far this season. Not Mo Salah, definitely not Mo Salah numbers, not what we are used to seeing from the Egyptian goal-getter. Always seems to find a way to be clutch for Liverpool when it matters the most. But so far, 3 defeats on the bounce for the Reds, and Mohamed Salah has been persona non grata in all 3 of those games. So, and the frustration is starting to boil over from the perspective of a Liverpool fan. I have to say, I do not think that a season is enough for Salah to have dropped off. I think that it's taking a bit of time to get adjusted to his new teammates, to the way Liverpool play now. Bear in mind, Darwin Núñez, Luis Diaz, they were more complementary pieces to Salah because they were not necessarily goal scorers themselves. They were creators. At least that was their first intention, to create, and Salah was usually the beneficiary of said creation. Hugo Ekitike, Alexander Isak on the other hand, goal scorers. If anything, they are the ones that should be created for. And speaking of creation, there's supposed to be a new creative hub in the team in Florian Wirtz, who they spent a lot of money for. So Salah going from 34 goals and 23 assists last season. I don't think that you go from that. 57 goals and assists to just Salah is finished. No. I'll say the logical conclusion is that it's taking a bit of time to, blood in and adjust it to the new season and, figure out his new teammates. But Mo Salah is one of the greatest ever did, so I'm sure he'll figure it out. And also, he might just be tired. He's played a lot of games, He's played a lot of games. And like I said, he played 52 games last season. And this season he's already played 10 for Liverpool, played every single game. It's one of the few players in their squad that does not get any single rest whatsoever. So at some point, it does start to take a toll, especially when you're 33 years old, like Mohamed Salah is. So maybe those are the factors that have led to Salah starting the season poorly. You fans listening to me right now, let me know what you think the reason is and what the solution can be. Do you feel like Liverpool should have just let Salah go when his contract was about to wind down in the summer, or do you think that it was a good idea to renew and keep faith with the Egyptian maestro based on what you've seen so far this season? So that was my highlight of the weekend. Chelsea putting belt to ass to Liverpool. So Liverpool still remain without a win at Stamford Bridge since 2020. September 2020 was the last time Liverpool won at Stamford Bridge. Both goals by Sadio Mane. It's been so long ago. So long ago, 5 years on the bounce. And counting thanks to Esteval's fantastic late winning goal. And the incredible celebration that ensued, the celebration with Enzo Maresca joining, even having to join and picking up his second yellow card that led to him getting sent off at the end of that game. But it didn't matter much. I have to commend Maresca again before I lose my train of thought. I have to commend Maresca again for finally taking the handbrakes off. So it shows to me that he does know the right subs to make. It's just always been a case of too much caution. This time around, he threw caution to the wind, made the absolute right subs exactly when he was supposed to make them. Esteval, Gittins, and Maguire coming off the bench to replace João Pedro, who did not have a great game, as we said. Pedro Neto, who also was subpar, and Garnacho was actually quite good. But changing the front three reinvigorated the team, especially with Liverpool making the ill-timed decision of removing Konate and sending Ryan Gravenberch to centre back. So those are some of the factors that contributed to Chelsea winning that game. As you can tell, I am very excited about these results. I'm still happy about it. So that's what I've been rambling on about it. But there's a whole lot to talk about on the show today. Earlier in the week, earlier in the week, a story that caught my eye, Gary Lineker, the English football savant, an English football legend, and English football broadcasting. I don't even know which of his careers is biggest. Is Gary Lineker a bigger broadcast legend, sports broadcast legend, than he was a football legend? Because he did do a lot as a football player. Which of his careers was more successful, broadcast or football? Let me know what you think in the comments. But for now, we are talking about him for a very specific purpose, because he had something to say about Victor Osimhen, and it's an apology. Let's hear what he had to say.
I need to apologise, by the way, to Victor Osimhen.
Why?
Remember, I intimated that he goes missing sometimes, and I believe that is actually completely not the case. So,
Right.
Victor, if you're listening, and I'm sorry about that. You shouldn't spout rumours on these things. So, my bad on that. My bad.
They paid 75 million euros, I think, for him, which is 60 million quid.
Yeah.
When you think of the grand scheme of things, I mean, his record is fantastic. It really is in terms of goals. So I was surprised.
He's quick. He's tall. He's a good finisher. He's brilliant in the air. He's a hell of a player.
He'd been out injured, I think, for about a month, and he
Yeah.
only played 6 minutes at the last weekend.
Yeah.
So it was perhaps a bit of a surprise that he started him, but he definitely got the better of Konate and Van Dijk the other night.
That was the voice of Gary Lineker speaking to Alan Shearer on the Rest is Football podcast, which I believe they do along with Michael Richards, and apologizing to Nigerian international Victor Osimhen for a rumor he started about him. And I want to get into all of that, but I think I'll much rather just play it for you. So, yeah, what he said back in August, in the middle of a transfer window saga.
Osimhen's basically signed a deal for 3 or 4 years. I put in a group, like, I can't believe it. Like, it could do better than that, in my opinion. Alan decides to say he's not sure he's that good. So I said he'd be top 3 number 9s in the Premier League. Fact.
I mean, come on. I know you're saying Salah's a winger, but I know he's not a 9, but oh, come on.
Did you play
Salah,
Tom?
Isak, Haaland. There you go, there's 3.
Salah, that is a ridiculous shout, that. You might as well put David Beckham in there as well, then you silly son.
Okay, João Pedro, there you go, there's 3.
No, João Pedro is
a forward.
Unbelievable. But you cannot say he's better than Osimhen.
I saw Osimhen play in a couple of times against Leicester.
Anyone score against that mob?
But he was so impressive, and I've followed his career because of that, and he was absolutely brilliant for Napoli. I do hear on the grapevine that a reason 1 or 2 of the clubs are a little bit nervous is that he sometimes can go missing for a few days.
Oh.
Apparently there's some kind of slight question mark as to his character in that sense. But whether that's true or not, I wouldn't confirm it.
So that once again on the same podcast is Lineker for what he originally said about Osimhen back in August, talking about his head that the player can disappear a few times, and now he's come back to retract his statement in September, October. And so, in my opinion, too little, too late. Even though it seems like he means well, Lineker doesn't seem like a malicious human being. But it was still ill-advised to say what he said in August, right as the transfer window was still bubbling. These are the taste makers of football opinions. I know a lot of football fans think that they have their own opinions, but you don't. You really don't. You look to people like Lineker, you look to people like myself to tell you how to think about football, and then you put those opinions and internalize them and pass them off as your own, but you are really regurgitating other people's opinions. And even if you are not, someone as credible as Lineker, someone as accomplished in the sport as Lineker, can say something that sinks into your subconscious. So when he says that about Osimhen, it carries a lot of weight, it carries a lot of credibility, and even if you don't actively believe it, you will always have it at the back of your mind that Osimhen disappears because Lineker said it. And the thing with such statements is the apology hardly ever goes as viral as the original statement. I remember the original statement went viral as else. That's all anybody spoke about the entire day on football Twitter. But now the apology has just sort of flown under the radar. A few people here and there have pointed it out, blah 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 blah, but it's not trendy as much as the original statement was. So, and that's the danger in saying things like this unprovoked and unchecked about football players. So please let's always make sure that we have our verified information, and I'm sure Lineker usually does. So I don't want to talk down on the legend of the profession, but it is what it is. Victor Osimhen doesn't seem to need Lineker's big ups at the moment. He's doing well for himself. He had a great performance in the Champions League last midweek. 1-0 win for Galatasaray at home to Liverpool. Scored the only goal, was man of the match. Went on to the weekend, did not score against Besiktas. That game ended 1-1, but it was the talk of the game. Mostly because it was fighting, but anywho. And it's included in Super Eagles squad. You'll be leading Super Eagles, hopefully trying to complete mission impossible by sealing or stealing a World Cup slot ahead of South Africa. And speaking of that, we play against Lesotho on Friday, October 10. So by the end of this week, we might still be with a shoe-in to qualify for the FIFA World Cup in the United States, Mexico, and Canada. And speaking of that, the squad list to prosecute those 2 games against Lesotho and Benin Republic has been put out by Michelle. Three goalkeepers: Stanley Nwabali, Hamaso Basoge, Adebayo Adeleye. The defenders are Felix Agu, Bruno Yemachi, Bright Osai Samo, Shemi Ajayi, William Troost-Ekong, Calvin Bassey, and Benjamin Frederick. It's a very lean midfield with just 4 midfielders: Alex Iwobi, Wilfred Ndidi, Frank Oyeka, and the returning Alassane Yusuf. While there are 9 forwards, 9 of them. Moses Simon, Ademola Lookman, Toluwa Lachia, Lokodari, Victor Osimhen, as mentioned earlier. Terry Murphy makes a return. Cyril Dessers is listed in the squad. Samuel Chukwueze, Ako Adams, and Ola Olusegun, who is a potential debutant. But 2 changes have now been made to that squad because of injury. Bright Osai Samuel is taken out and replaced by Zaidu Sanusi, who appears to be eating his stride for FC Porto a little bit over the last few weeks. So congratulations to him. And Christantos Uche, who should have been in the squad initially to start with, is replacing Cyril Dessers. So I don't know if he's listed as a forward, but we need him in midfield. We cannot rock up to Lesotho and Benin Republic with just 4 midfielders. And therein lies our problems. Why would you invite 9 forwards? And inside the 9 forwards, we really only had 2 wingers there, Moses Simon and Samuel Chukwueze. So it's basically a top-heavy team of centre forwards. I don't know how that works, but we have to find a way to make it work, because it's do or die season for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Can it be done? It's all coming to a head in Group C. As we speak, as I spoke about last week, thanks to South Africa's 3-point deduction, they dropped to second on goals difference, right behind Benin Republic. Both teams on 14 points, and Benin with a 4 goal difference of +4. South Africa have a goal difference of +3. Nigeria are third with 11 points, 3 points behind South Africa and Benin Republic, which means that absolutely against Lesotho, we have to win. If we don't win against Lesotho, it's officially over. And if you don't beat Lesotho, both home and away, because we didn't beat them at home, we played a 1-1 draw in Uyo. In the first game of this qualified series, 1-1 draw at home. We even needed to equalize. Taiwan only scored at the equalizer against Lesotho. So if you play Lesotho twice and you don't win, then you don't have any business at the FIFA World Cup. That's just what it is. That's all I'm going to say. So we play Lesotho on Friday away from home. We need to win, and win convincingly. I'm talking start pad. We need to start pad shamelessly, because goal difference might come in handy. At this point, we have +2 goal difference, 1 behind South Africa, 2 behind Benin Republic. We are still going to play Benin Republic. So if we beat Benin Republic, we close up on them as well. But we need to beat Lesotho well. I'm talking 4-5-0. Beat Lesotho and hope that simultaneously, because also on Friday, South Africa will be playing away at Zimbabwe. But bad news for Nigeria is that it's now been confirmed. There was a lot of rumors of where that game was going to be played, because Zimbabwe do not have a FIFA standard stadium in the entire country. So they've been playing their away games in South Africa. But because of the conflict of interest, there's been talk about perhaps playing this particular game in Botswana and so on and so forth. But now it's been confirmed that game is holding in South Africa. So there's nothing we can do about it. So South Africa will play their final 2 games at home. And somehow we need them to drop at least 3 points for things to work out in our favor. Let it all work out. This one might not work out, but yeah, that's all the preview that you need to know. We beat Lesotho well this Friday, and hope that South Africa at least just draw. At least draw against Zimbabwe, because I'm not holding my breath for Zimbabwe to beat SA. I'm sorry, I'm just not doing it. Zimbabwe are the only team in this group that are yet to win a single game. They're yet to win a single game. They're bottom of this group. They have just 4 points. They have 4 draws and 4 losses. And guess who contributed 2 out of their 4 draws? Guess. Giant of Africa. Nigeria played this Zimbabwe team twice and could not beat them. 1-1 on both occasions. 1-1 on both occasions against the worst team in this group. As it is, Zimbabwe are likely going to finish last in this group. Lesotho have 9 points. Granted, Lesotho's 9 points. 3 of those points came from being awarded the 3 points by FIFA from the ones they took from South Africa. Lesotho got those 3 points. But right now, Lesotho have 9 points. Zimbabwe have 4. So I'm not holding my breath for Zimbabwe to do anything against South Africa in South Africa, even though they are technically supposed to be at home. Maybe they'll play for pride, who knows? But I doubt that they have any pride to play for to start with. So I think that is going to be a convincing win for South Africa, actually. But I would take a draw. Oh my God, I would take a draw. Would I not take a draw? I think the best possible thing, the most likely thing actually, because we need South Africa to drop at least 3 points. But I don't see them losing either game. Losing at home to Zimbabwe and Rwanda is going to be a tough ask. What I see that could potentially happen is them drawing both games. I think that is a strong possibility. And that's what I will be praying for. That's what I will be rubbing my crystal ball over. That's what I'll be moving around my Ouija board for. That's what I'll be praying to the deities. That's what I'll be carrying calabash in the middle of the night for. And South Africa, please, just 2 draws is all I ask. Bafana, 2 draws. Zimbabwe played the most aram of aram balls on Friday, and that game ends in a draw. Automatically puts immense pressure on them ahead of the last game against Rwanda, meaning they absolutely have to win, and that's not a good situation to play in. That one could also easily end in a draw. So that's what I'm hoping for, and that's what I hope happens. So, and by the time we play against Benin Republic, the next game, I think it's on Monday, on the 14th. If the 14th is Monday, let me just quickly confirm that. But yeah, by the time we play the last game of the group against Benin Republic on Tuesday, beg your pardon, probably preview that on the next episode. Maybe with a clearer view on what we need to do to qualify. Beat Benin Republic, hope South Africa don't win. Through to the World Cup. Easy enough. Let's see if it can be done. Mission impossible. Can the Super Eagles make it possible? I'll say don't hold your breath, but that's the update on where we are Super Eagles wise. At this moment in time, it's too early to know how many players have arrived camp. My guess is on maybe 2 or 3. The game is on Friday, so probably by Tuesday or Wednesday we'll have a full camp. Wednesday we should have a full camp. This seems like a good place to stop. It's time for me to catch my breath and let Tosin take us into the world of other sports within other news with Tosin. Tosin Abayomi, are you there?
Hi guys, my name is Tosin Abayomi. Welcome to In Other News on the T&T Talk Sports podcast. And it's been a while. Obviously, I was not on the episode last week, but we'll be touching on 3 major things, basically the UFC, obviously the WNBA and the NBA. Let's start with the UFC. There was a massive UFC clash for the UFC light heavyweight title featuring Alex Pereira against Magomed Ankalaev. Alex Pereira needed just 1 minute and 22 seconds to claim the light heavyweight world championship, stopping Ankalaev at UFC 320 in Las Vegas. The Brazilian's victory came 7 months after he was on the end of a unanimous points loss to the Russian at UFC 313. Pereira had learned from his defeat the last time he fought, and he was very, very clinical. He spent the fight on the back foot the last time he faced, but this time he wasted no time by connecting with a huge right hook and was able to just disintegrate Ankalaev from there, and it was a massive win for Pereira because he now becomes a 2-time light heavyweight champion in the UFC. He was already a 2-time middleweight champion in the UFC, and now there are already talks about him moving up to heavyweight to become the first 3 division champion in the UFC. So incredible work by Alex Pereira. When he first came into the UFC for kickboxing, I was not really a fan because there was a lot of talk that he just came to the UFC because of Israel Adesanya, and ever since then he has been dominant. He has beaten almost everybody you put in front of him. He has never avoided a fight. He has beaten Ankalaev, he has beaten Jiri Prohashka, he has anybody you want to talk about. Israel Adesanya, he has beaten Khalil Rountree, he has beaten him. Jamal Hill, he has beaten him. Whoever the opponent is that you've put in front of Alex Pereira, he has obviously beaten the person. And for me, I think he's now getting to the point whereby he's entering the position whereby he's among the greats. When you talk about Islam Magomedov, when you talk about John Jones, Alex Pereira is already in that conversation of the greatest UFC fighters of all time. And if he goes to heavyweight and becomes a 3-division champion, there is no reason why you can't say he's the undisputed GOAT. Especially if he beats Tom Aspinall, who is regarded as one of the best heavyweights of all time already, even though he did not face John Jones. But that would be a massive accomplishment for him. So the second thing we'll be talking about is the WNBA. But before we actually the WNBA, we'll be talking about two parts: the game and the off-court issues. So the first thing we'll talk about is the game. The last time we had a discussion, I gave you updates about the WNBA semi-finals that was going on, and those series have ended. We are already in WNBA finals. The Phoenix Mercury, they were able to knock out. The Phoenix Mercury were able to knock out a very disciplined Minnesota Lynx side. So they won. Minnesota won the first game. Then the Phoenix Mercury bounced back to take the second game. Then they went back home and Phoenix Mercury won both games. It was in game 3 that there was an incident that their star player, runner-up in the MVP, Nafisa Kolia, she got injured, and all of a sudden, then it turned all in the head for the Minnesota Lynx, and the Phoenix Mercury were able to advance to the next round. In that game 3, there was an incident whereby Alyssa Thomas was able to snatch the ball from an inbound and was able to go through on to deliver the dagger and knock out the Minnesota Lynx. Now, what happened in that game was that Nafisa Korea suffered an injury and she sprained her ankle. She was out. The head coach of the Minnesota Lynx, she went crazy. She was saying a whole lot of insults and calling it at the officials, and she was promptly fined. In the other semi-final, that one went the distance between the Indiana Fever and the Las Vegas Aces. So the Las Vegas Aces won the first. The Indiana Fever won the first game. The Las Vegas Aces bounced back to take the second game. The Las Vegas Aces won the third game. Indiana Fever bounced back, took the fourth game, and the fifth game actually went to overtime in a spectacular fashion. And Indiana Fever already are missing 5 of their rotation players. Are missing Caitlin Clark, they're missing Sophie Cunningham, they're missing Harry McDonald's, they're missing Sidney Colson, they're missing BB, and they still, and even in the game 5 against the Las Vegas Aces, they pushed them to overtime, and that was with Kelsey Mitchell getting injured in the third quarter and Aliyah Boston fouling out in the fourth quarter. So massive credit to Indiana Fever. So that set up a final between the Phoenix Mercury and the Las Vegas Aces. Now, this is the Las Vegas Aces third final in 4 years, and they already won 2 in 2022, 2023, and this is a massive. They have the opportunity to win 3 in 4 years, and against the Phoenix Mercury, they won the first game against Phoenix Mercury 89-86. They just finished the second game. As I'm talking to you now, the Aces were able to win against the Phoenix Mercury to take a 2-0 advantage, 91-78. The star player for today's game was actually Jackie Young, she had 32 points and 8 rebounds. Ija Wilson was spectacular. She had 28 points, 14 rebounds. And Chelsea Gray had 10 points, 10 assists, and 8 rebounds, almost a triple-double in the NBA final. So the series shifts to Phoenix with Las Vegas Aces taking a 2-0 advantage. But before we actually wrap up the WNBA discussion, I'd like to talk about the issue that happened after the whole issue between Phoenix Mercury and the Minnesota Lynx. Nafisa Collier decided that she was having an exit interview, and she made some very, 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 very strange comments about the WNBA and its leadership. She said that the WNBA president, Katie Lundberg, her leadership qualities, she questioned her leadership qualities, and obviously she said that like Katie Engelbert told her that only losers complain about the rest when they brought up the issue about officials. She also said that Katie Engelbert said that Caitlin Clark should be grateful for the WNBA because the league is responsible for sponsorship deals. And this was a massive, massive comment that went viral. And here's just my own personal opinion about it. I think there are a lot of things that happen and we cannot see the bigger picture yet because they are logged into a collective bargaining agreement. And obviously, although Nafisa Collier is the WNBA vice president, she also has in some way competing league, which is the unrivaled league, even though it's a 3x3 league. And she's the president of that league, and she's also been involved in discussions for the collective bargaining agreement. So we are looking at that may be conflict of interest, and at the end of the day, it's of the best interest of both the league and the WNBA players to actually come together and make sure that this league continues to grow and they get to a certain agreement. So that is it for the WNBA. And let's talk about the NBA because the NBA season is starting, and as we all know, there have been some friendly games, and a lot of people are already making a lot of assumptions about who is going to win. I'm very, very excited. The NBA tips off October 21st, but some of the friendly games, the New York Knicks and the Philadelphia 76ers, they went to Abu Dhabi for a couple of games. The Knicks won the first one 99-84 and the second one 113-104. The Lakers started their season with a loss, an 81-103 loss to the Phoenix Suns. Obviously, Luka Doncic and LeBron James did not play in that one. The Orlando Magic recorded a 126-115 against the Miami Heat, and that in the Florida derby. And obviously, the Minnesota Timberwolves continued their hot streak against the Denver Nuggets, and they've been 8-0 since their semi-final clash in the Western Conference Finals 2 seasons ago. So that is about it for other sports with Tosin. My name is Tosin Abayomi. I'll be doing a very, very detailed preview on the start of the new NBA season. I'll be looking at the conferences. I'll be looking at the award section. So that is it for now. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you so much for supporting. Like and subscribe and listen on the platforms that you will. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Tosin. It's time to get back to football and talk about coupon busters. Who cut your ticket this week? It was a red Sunday. Let me tell you that it was a bloody Sunday for me and mine. Everybody just they lament. Everybody was in their feelings on Sunday, and Barcelona was found at the scene of the crime. 4-1, they held the bag. 4-1 to Sevilla. Incredible. Not a single person could have predicted that before a ball was kicked. Sevilla 4, Barcelona 1. It ended at the Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan on Sunday. I know that not just for me, it would have been a massive coupon buster for the entire football investment community. So my commiserations, my brothers. Lyon also got to do a strong thing on Sunday. Lyon at home to Toulouse. All you could have asked for Lyon is don't lose at home to Toulouse. And they took a very early lead, held it for so long, only to concede 2 very late goals and then lose 2-1 at home to Toulouse. So, Lyon, Shakhtar Donetsk in Ukraine lost 4-1 at home. 4-1. I don't need to say much more than that. Same for Victoria Pilsen, 3-3. They ended their game. Very entertaining game if you did not bet on it. If you did bet on it, then yeah, I'm sure you didn't find it entertaining. Even though their opponents, Radek Krakow, picked up a red card, Pilsen missed the penalty. They were trailing 2-1. They scored in the 89th and the 90th minute to lead 3-2. And the 10 men away from home equalized them in the 96th minute, 33, to make it 3-3. So, and hereby throwing the football investment community into turmoil. In Turkey, both Fenerbahce and Galatasaray drew over the weekend. Galatasaray 1-1 against Besiktas on Saturday. Fenerbahce 0-0 away at Samsunspor on Sunday. So everywhere you look, everywhere you go, tears. Anybody that won anything on Sunday, I would like to learn your methods. Probably people did win because there were lots of goals on Sunday. So if you dabbled into the goals market, you probably did have a good weekend. Needless to say, I did not. So congratulations to everybody that is involved. Other notable results from the weekend: on Sunday, Aston Villa 2-1 winners against Burnley. Everton 2-1 winners at home to Crystal Palace, ending the unbeaten run for Crystal Palace. The unbeaten run stood at 19 games and they looked set to make it 20th game unbeaten, and go on Twitter to say, we have updated our bio as they've been doing after every game for the last few games so far. Daniel Munoz opened the scoring for Crystal Palace in 37th minutes. Iliman Njai, 76 minutes penalty to equalize, and Jack, the alcoholic Grealish, in the 92nd minute with a very scrappy winning goal to seal the 3 points for Everton and the disappointment for Crystal Palace. Oliver Glasner's unbeaten run is over and it ends at 19. The 20th game was their undoing. Newcastle 2-0 winners against Nottingham Forest. Goals by Bruno Guimaraes and Nicolas Voldemada, the new signing, hitting the ground running with his 4th goal for Newcastle already, this time from the spot, and putting pressure on another new man in Ange Postecoglou. Ange now has taken charge of 7 Nottingham Forest games across the competitions and has not won a single game. 5 losses, 2 draws. He might be in and out before the next international break. Ange came in during the September international break and might be leaving by the October international. That's how ridiculous this is. It's been so poor. Wolves, Brighton and Molineux ended 1-1. Toluwa Rokodare came off the bench but could not do much for Wolves. Victor Pereira was also sent off earlier in that game. Manchester City 1-0 winners away at Brentford, and Haaland's early goal was all she wrote in that one, and City are looking like their old selves again. Well, maybe not, but at least they're picking up results. And that should be all that matters. On Saturday, we saw Tottenham win 2-1 away at Leeds United. Elland Road is never easy to go, especially with the kind of football that their Farka has them playing, the negative football that the fans have been complaining about. But still, Tottenham went there and won. Thomas Frank doing the business as Tottenham boss. Arsenal 2-0 winners at home to West Ham United. Espirito Santo's foray to the Emirates did not go well whatsoever. Manchester United 2-0 winners at home to Sunderland. Senne Lammens made his debut in goal for the Red Devils and kept a clean sheet to commemorate. And as I mentioned earlier, but I will never get tired of mentioning, Chelsea 2, Chelsea duos, Chelsea Meiji, Chelsea do, Liverpool 1, Liverpool 1, Liverpool Ocon. Thank you very much. So the implications of that on the Premier League table is that Liverpool dropped from the top of the table to now second with 15 points from 7 games. 3 consecutive losses. Reds, is it time to be worried? Liverpool fans, are you worried? 3 straight losses. Crystal Palace, Galatasaray, Chelsea. Going into the international break off the back of 3 consecutive losses must be brutal. And even before the losses started coming, lots of people, myself included, warned that Liverpool were not impressive. They were not playing well. They were relying a lot on these late goals that just happened to be, just kept happening, happenstance. And the logical mind made the conclusion that it will not continue like that for much longer. You actually have to start playing well at some point to win games. You cannot win the game with a late goal against Bournemouth, win the game with a late goal against Newcastle, win the game with a late goal against Arsenal, win the game with late goals in pretty much every game you've played so far. This is against Atletico Madrid, same thing in the Champions League, and you think that that's going to continue the entire season. There's a reason you are cutting it so close, and at some point the late goals will dry up and your yash will be blown by the breeze, and we'll see the yash of the chicken, or however they say that program. But so yeah, and that's exactly what we're witnessing right now. So I think Liverpool fans do have a lot to be worried about. But for the team that has nothing to be worried about, Arsenal, back on the summit, back on top, and to them, they will say back where they belong. 16 points from 7 games, best defense in the league, second best offense in the league. They've scored 14 goals. Only Manchester City with 15 have scored more than Arsenal, and they've conceded far fewer than everybody else. 3 goals conceded so far. Tottenham, second best defense with 5 goals conceded. City 6 goals conceded, and so on and so forth. So that's the lay of the land in the Premier League. I think it's too early to still be reading too much into the table right now. 7 games played, 31 still to go. So 31 games is enough time for Enzo Maresca's tricky Blues to charge up the table. Right now we are 7th. It's 11 points, but just 5 points off Arsenal at the summit of the table. So there's a lot to look forward to, but let's check out how it went in the other leagues. In the French League on Saturday, Marseille 3-0 winners away at Metz. Impressive victory for Roberto De Zerbi's men. Partial, the signing from Feyenoord, proving to be an inspired signing. It was fantastic for them in the midweek as well in the Champions League, and back-to-back big wins for Marseille. Brest Nantes ended goalless. Auxerre lost 2-1 at home to Lyon. On Sunday in the French League 1, I mentioned already Lyon losing at home to Toulouse by 1-2. Le Havre ended 2-2. Monaco Nice ended 2-2. Strasbourg 5-0 winners at home to Angers. And Liverpool won, Paris Saint-Germain won. An interesting moment is that in Lille, I beg your pardon, Liverpool. Lille won, Paris Saint-Germain won. An interesting moment in that game was Ethan Mbappe scoring the equalizer for Lille after Nuno Mendes have already put goal in front with the goal. Ethan Mbappe scored the equalizer for Lille with Kylian Mbappe and their father in the stands watching. So it must have been a proud moment for the Mbappe family. What does that mean for the French Ligue 1 table? Though Paris Saint-Germain, champions of the world, no, champions of Europe, not champions of the world, that's Chelsea. Champions of Europe, top of the table with 16 points from 7 games, right ahead of Marseille and Strasbourg. Both teams have 15 points, as do Lyon with 15 points. Monaco are in 5th with 13, tied with Lyon, and that's what it looks like in the French Ligue 1 heading into the international break. In the German Bundesliga on Sunday, Stuttgart 1-0 winners at home to Heidenheim. Hamburg 4-0 winners against FSV Mainz, and Borussia Mönchengladbach playing out a goalless draw at home to Freiburg was not on my bingo card. It certainly was not on my betting ticket. So grimy. On Saturday in the Bundesliga, Augsburg 3, Wolfsburg 1, Bayer Leverkusen 2, Hertha Berlin 0. Dortmund and Leipzig played out a 1-1 draw. Werder Bremen 1-0 winners at home to St. Pauli. And Bayern Munich continued to be on the tier with 3 unreplied goals against Eintracht Frankfurt. 3-0 it ended. Harry Kane Luis Diaz were the stars of the day. Harry Kane scoring a goal, Luis Diaz scoring a brace. Bayern Munich top of the table, perfect. The first team to win their first 10 games of a season in European top 5 league history. So that's very, very impressive for Bayern Munich. 18 points from 6 games, 25 goals scored, 3 conceded. They are in a class of their own. But right behind them, looking like we're having the classic 1-2 punch in Germany happen once again. Borussia Dortmund with 14 points, 4 behind Bayern Munich, and they've only considered 1 goal more than Bayern, with 4 goals conceded, and they've scored 12 goals scored. So are we finally going to get a title race in the German Bundesliga this season? Leipzig lost a lot of talents over the past few summers actually, but I thought Stuttgart fourth. Bayer Leverkusen find their way back up to 5th after Erik ten Hag nearly sent them to an early grave. So they did what they had to do in terms of sacking the man. What other European league have I not touched? The Italian Serie A. On Saturday, Lazio 3, Torino 3. Parma losing 1-0 at home to Lecce. Inter 4-1 winners at home to Cremonese. Atalanta 1, Como 1. It ended on Saturday in Serie A. On Sunday in Serie A, Udinese 1-1 against Cagliari. Bologna 4-0 winners at home to newly promoted Pisa. Roma winning 2-1 away at Fiorentina. Fiorentina have still yet to win a Serie A game this season. We are in October, when the second international break of the season. Fiorentina are still winless so far. Napoli 2-1 winners against Genoa. The late show for Napoli. Rasmus Højlund with the goal in the 75th minute to win it after they came back from behind, and Gisa equalized in the 57th minute. And Juventus Milan ended goalless. The big game on Sunday night ended goalless. Christian Pulisic missed the penalty in the 53rd minute, meaning that Milan have now missed 5 of their last 7 penalties. So this is not a team that deserves the advantage of a penalty. That means for the table, Napoli go right to the top, but on goal difference, they have 15 points from 6 games, as do Roma, 15 points from 6 games. But Roma have the best defense in the league, with just 2 goals considered in their 6 games. Gasperini is really tightening the defense up over there in the capital. Milan are third with 13 points, Inter are fourth with 12 points, tied with Juventus, and Atalanta and Bologna are tied with 10 points or 6th and 7th respectively. It goes on like that. 3 teams on 9 points, 2 teams on 8 points. The Serie A is known for being competitive like this, so give it up for Serie A, one of the best leagues in European football at the moment. Those are the results that caught my eye from the weekend. And now it's time to talk about the main topic point of the show, which is the strikers that have been running the show in Europe's top leagues. There's a running theme, and there are 3 main guys that stand out among the rest of the pack. The race for Golden Shoe this season is already hotting up. But right now, most league goals scored in Europe's top 5 leagues so far this season. Harry Kane has 11 goals in 6 Bundesliga games. 11 in 6. That's damn near an average of 2 per game. That's like 1.9 goals per game. That's ridiculous. And then Haaland has 7 goals. It has 9 goals in 7 Premier League games. Kylian Mbappe has 9 goals in 8 La Liga games. The race for the Golden Shoe is already a 3-horse race, which is true, but begs the question: who is the best striker in Europe at the moment? It's hard to look at what these guys are doing and not be impressed or wowed. Harry Kane with 11 goals in 6 games is crazy. He already has 20 plus goal contributions in October so far this season in all competitions. This is not normal what these guys are doing. This is not normal whatsoever. Erling Haaland, on the other hand, is the first player to be involved in 10 plus goals in the Premier League this season, ahead of the likes of Antoine Semenyo, Jaguar, João Pedro, and the rest of the chasing pack. What they are doing is ridiculous. Kylian Mbappe last season became the first La Liga player to score 30 plus league goals since Lionel Messi 5 years ago. and join an elite list of non-Messi or Ronaldo players to achieve that feat as well. And you're seeing what he's basically been doing this season, even revving up the tempo, which begs the question: who is the best striker in the world, Gongo? Is it Kane? Is it Haaland? Is it Mbappe, who a lot of people might even say is not a striker, but he's been playing as a striker for the last 2 seasons now, and at this point we just have to say he is a striker. Is he the best striker in the world though? There's a strong argument to be made. You saw what he did to Kairat Amati in the Champions League, but again, you say that's Kairat. Football is football, but I'll let that slide. You see what he's been doing to every La Liga team so far this season. Apart from being prolific, he's genuinely fearful. Kylian Mbappe is fearful. He grabs games by the scruff of the neck and does exactly what he has to do. Incredible. But I still don't think he's the best striker in Europe at the moment. I think that Harry Kane has him beat at this moment in time. At this moment in time, what Harry Kane is doing, ladies and gentlemen, don't even test him for drugs. We don't need WADA, we don't need World Anti-Doping Agency, we don't need anybody to test him for drugs. I need you to test Harry Kane for compound V. That's the only way, that's the only thing that makes sense. Test Harry Kane for compound V. He's a soup. Test Harry Kane, it looks like a character from The Boys anyway. But what Harry Kane has been doing this season is nothing short of incredible, nothing short of magical. 18 goals, ladies and gentlemen, 18 across all competitions, and 3 assists. You know what? 18 goals is a decent full season for a striker. Like, if your striker scored 18 goals, like, yeah, it's not great, but like it's not bad either in a full season. If your striker has 18 goals in October, in early October, not even, let me stop saying October, because this is literally the first week of October. If your striker has 18 goals already before the October international break, I beg your pardon. Report him, turn him in for witchcraft, turn him in for sorcery, report him to the authorities. It is your God-given right, it is your obligation to report alien activities. And I am telling you that Harry Kane is not playing human. Harry Kane is not human whatsoever. But speaking of not human, the guy that I genuinely think is the best striker in the world, Erling Haaland. Simple as Erling Haaland. I don't see how there is a better striker in the world than Haaland. No disrespect to Kane, no disrespect to Mbappe, but what Haaland stylistically, numbers wise, it doesn't matter. It's hard to see a player just completely impose his will on his opposition defenders constantly like Haaland does. See the goal that I scored against Brentford on Sunday. It was not even a chance, it was a punt forward by Gvardiol. He absolutely bullied the defender out of his way. Smart finish, tucked it right away. So those are the 3 contenders. I personally this one is a preference 3. It's a preference 3. As a centre forward, I prefer Haaland for the simple reason that he's a more traditional striker. He's a more traditional striker, even though he has hints of modern movements and modern requirements to his game. He's a more traditional striker in the sense that he's in the box. He wants the ball in the box. He wants to lace it. He wants to hit it. He wants to blast it. He wants to blala it. He wants to score it. That's what Erling Haaland is all about. Harry Kane, on the other hand, as much as I respect his accomplishments, as much as I respect his persona, as much as I adore his consistency, it has to be said, stylistically, I do not enjoy him that much, and I'm waiting for you to stone me, sorry. But the way Harry Kane plays football has been effective for him, so who am I, an obese man in middle of Nigeria, to tell Harry Kane what to do about striking the ball? But it still has to be said, Harry Kane spends too much time outside the box for me. I'm sorry, I don't. But many a time Bayern Munich will have a counter attack and everybody's busting their guts to get it, and Kane is just arriving from the center circle. Like, nah, that's not going to work. For me, I think that Haaland is the best striker in the world as we speak. So from best strikers in the world to struggling striker, Victor Gyokeres, 3 goals so far in 10 games for Arsenal. Is it time to be worried? Is it time to be worried? Gyokeres has 2 goals, 2 non-penalty goals in 578 minutes in the Premier League. Not the kind of return Arsenal fans hoped for on that fateful day when they got their man and all went around doing this celebration looking like complete dummies on the streets. If you can't hear me well, especially on Spotify, it's because I was covering my mouth and my nose doing the Gyokeres celebration. But I'm glad you can get back to hear me now. But yeah, that's the situation of Victor Gyokeres now. It's Arsenal fans, is it too early to be trepid? Are you still calm? 3 goals in 10 games. Hugo Ekitike on the other hand has played 10 games for Liverpool as well, but he scored 5 goals. Nicolas Voltamada has played 7 games for Newcastle, has scored 4 goals. Benjamin Šeško, who a lot of people laughed at, myself included, has already scored 2 goals in his 8 games so far. João Pedro started like a house of fire, but he has hit a very rough patch. 2 goals in 9 games so far. What is the excuse for Victor Gyokeres, who plays for arguably a better team, a more settled team, a less chaotic team, a team that should normally have been plug and play for him? It was a team that was yearning for a striker. They already had every other thing going. They had alternative means of scoring through set pieces. Their centre backs are deadly in the air. Their wingers are deadly. Trossard can score. Martinelli can score. Saka scores all the time. Even from midfield, you have people like Merino, Havertz contributing, Declan Rice. So everybody kind of just thought, Gyokeres comes to this team, no pressure, just come in, slot in, carry the load of the goal scoring of this team, let them create for you. But it's not happened like that. In fact, not only has he not scored, he's also not been playing well whatsoever. He's not been playing well at all, that's to be said. And if I was an Arsenal fan, I would be worried. Now, it's still unclear what is causing this, what is the source of his inability, whether it's a change of environment, not everybody can adjust to a new club that is whether it's the pressure of leading life for Arsenal, whether it's personal issues, because he did break up with his girlfriend to come to Arsenal from Sporting Lisbon. So whatever it is, I hope he figures it out, but I also know if the Arsenal fans are worried, like I think that they should be. I think that's where we draw the curtain on European football. Let's quickly let you know what happened in the NPFL this weekend. El Canary Warriors 2-1 winners at home to Kano Pillars. Benin Insurance lost at home to Nasarawa United by a goal to nil. Rangers Katsina was postponed. Shooting Stars 1, Plateau United 0. Enyimba and Rivers United played at a goalless draw. Niger Tornadoes 1-1 at home to Kun Khalifat. Barrow FC lost at home to Warri Wolves by goal to nil. Bayelsa United 1, Ikorodu City 1. Bayelsa United 1, Ikorodu Logawa 1. Kwara United 0, Abia Warriors 1. And there's a game on Monday as well. Remo starts playing. But right now, what this means for the table, that's why United are top of the league, just ahead of Enyimba, Abia Warriors, Plateau United, and Shooting Stars. That's the top 5 at the moment. Bottom 4, Rangers International, Barra FC, Kun Khalifat FC, and Kano Pillars. So it's looking like the newly promoted teams are trying to drag a couple established teams with them back into relegation, with Kano Pillars and Rangers International being muddied in the waters. Wade in the waters, children, wade. My producer is laughing at me for this is my show. I'm going to express myself I'm sorry. None of the other people I work for will allow me to do this on their airwaves. But thank you guys for allowing me to do this on my own digital airwaves on YouTube and Spotify. So start your Monday with the worst singing voice you've ever heard, courtesy of Tunde Young. Thank you very much. And of course, time to wrap up the episode with our customary Nigerian players update. How do your favorite Nigerian players perform over the weekend? I watched the couple myself before I go into this tracker updates. My own personal update, I watched the couple myself. In midweek, I had a goal ruled out for handball for Celtic in the Europa League. They ended up losing that game by a goal to nil. But in the league, he scored this weekend on Sunday at home to Motherwell. It ended 3-2. Kelechi with a goal in that game. I saw Tolu Arokodare's performance, if you can even call it that, because he didn't get lots of minutes. Ako Adams, I saw him light up the world for Sevilla. 4-1 winners. He scored the fourth goal for Sevilla, assisted by another Nigerian, Chidera Ejuke. So congratulations to those guys. Those are the ones that I personally saw. But let me go over Eagles tracker update. Ako Adams played 29 minutes and he scored the goal, assisted by Chidera Ejuke. Sevilla breeze pass back at 4-1 with the help from the Nigerian duo. So congratulations to those guys. Ashida Dajibade and Jennifer Echegini but put in good displays to help PSG on their way to a narrow home league victory over Dijon. So PSG Feminine won by a goal to nil, and neither of our Falcons were able to score in that one. Ademola Lookman featured for Atalanta as they were held to a home draw by Como. Lookman started second game in a row, second start of the season. Started in midweek against Club Brugge. They ended up winning by 2-1. And now started in this 1-1 draw against Como and played 73 minutes. Tuesday Awaze puts in an interesting performance in defense to help Nantes keep a clean sheet in their goalless draw against Brest. Congratulations to him. Inandi Ofobo puts in a good midfield performance to help Barnet FC on their way to a home league victory over Accrington Stanley. Babajide Akintola scored his first goal for Hull City and leads his side to a narrow home league victory over Sheffield United. Shemi Ajayi came on as a late substitute. Sola Babajide scored for AS Roma in their big home victory against Parma, a second goal for the club. 4-0 ended for AS Roma 1. Paul Onuachu has been named Turkish Super League Player of the Month in the same league where Victor Osimhen overshadowed and dominates the news cycle every single week. Paul Onuachu finally getting some recognition after having a superb week. He got another goal and assist for Trabzonspor on their way to a big Turkish Super League victory over Kayserispor. Congratulations to the big man. Congratulations to him. I think that wraps it up. That about wraps up Nigerian performers over the weekend, and that wraps up this episode as well. My name is Tunde Young. Still I from the result on Saturday, let me tell you that. And I'll probably rewatch that game between Chelsea and Liverpool and rewatch it again and give you my thoughts on the next episode of the pod. For myself and the rest of the crew, Tosin Abayami, Gyokeres, and everybody else that has a hand in this amazing production. See you next week.